Hello everybody, 'tis I, the Rumpledone. Halloween. That's tomorrow. Today's the 30th. Got my last minute Halloween costume ready. But I want to talk to you about how Halloween is every day. At least for our elected officials in the government. Because they're always in masks and costumes. I mean, government itself, the way it is now in the 21st century, is just one basic costume. I mean, it's dressed up like democracy and, republic form of government, but really it's not. It's a socialist dictatorship. I mean, if you watched a few of my Too Big to Cares, you'll understand. You watch my videos talking about disaster movies, you'll understand. You see, government is basically a monster out of control. But in the media, it's dressed up. Orwell called it doublespeak. But it's just people masquerading in costume. They put on a show, as I've called it before, government theater. But we all know it's all baloney. We all know that they're just wearing costumes, or actually, I shouldn't say we all know. Some of us know. People watching my videos know. I'm preaching to the choir again. But I just hope that maybe sometime you guys might find one of my videos that you send to your mail list, and somebody there that doesn't quite get it might watch my video and something clicks and they go, oh yeah, you know what, that guy on the porch, he's right. You know, I watch the news and I see all this stuff, but I know something's wrong. Just like they say in The Matrix, it's like a splinter in your mind driving you mad. And then all of a sudden you realize what it is. It's all a masquerade ball. These guys are in costume. They make you think that they're doing something when in reality they're not. But it's the appearance. I mean, look at this Ebola nightmare. I mean, so many holes have been blown in the CDC / White House logic response to this. It just defies fiction. I mean, if somebody wrote up a Hollywood script and wrote it out that this is the way it would happen, that script would go in the can. It's like, no way. I mean, how can they justify, on the one hand, keeping kids home if they have an infectious disease like measles or mumps, yet allow people with Ebola to come into the country and walk around? Because you see, with measles and mumps, you want to quarantine and isolate these people. You want to keep them away from the general population until they get over it. So why wouldn't you do the same with the Ebola people? You see, once again, it's kind of like that smoke and mirrors. And then for them to make the ludicrous statement that if we seal our borders and don't allow these people in, somehow that's going to make the Ebola problem worse. I mean, this stuff wouldn't even get by on a Saturday Night Live skit. It's just so comical. I mean, I would love to see Chevy Chase doing that news like he used to do. And him saying these things and using some of those Chevy Chase faces and expressions. I mean, I just think it would be hysterical. I mean, who's that guy? Is it The Daily Show? that guy, he tries to do it, but you know, Chevy Chase he was just perfect in that role. I mean, my fellow Americans, it's just so absurd. I mean, not to mention, next week we'll all be voting. Talk about another masquerade ball. I mean, it gives us the appearance that what we say, what we want matters. But when it gets down to it, the system's rigged, our choices are limited. Most people don't seem to care because they don't show up, especially in midterm elections. So the government just keeps rolling along and crushing us. I mean, here in the Great Northwest, we've got a ballot measure about marijuana legalization. So the government wants to be able to license it. I don't have a problem with that. They want to be able to regulate it. I don't really have too big of a problem with that. But they also want to be able to tax it. And that's where I draw the line. And I really wish that they could have maybe had two measures. Where in one they license and regulate, so we vote for that. And then we have one that they're also able to tax. See, I'd vote for the first two, but give them more money? No. No. I mean, what is it? Colorado, it's something like a 25% tax? I mean, back in the 50s and 60s, that would be considered usury. You would go to jail, loan sharking, charging somebody 10%. It was unheard of. I mean, and that's just part of the theater, the masquerade. I mean, while we're on the subject of interest, I mean, look at banks. They pay about 1% on your savings account, yet on the credit cards, they're still in the 19s, 20s, 23s. I think I've seen as high as 27% interest on a credit card. What's wrong with that picture? I should probably save that for a Too Big to Care video. But I think I've made my point. I don't really have to beat it into the ground. It's just a masquerade. So, my fellow Americans, happy Halloween every day of the year.